This video is about Sneaky Business by Martha Mer, or Mer, I don't know how to pronounce it, in last year's grade 1 syllabus. So I'm going to look at the hands separately first of all. Now the range of the notes, the range of the piece, is quite wide. The highest note in the right hand is this E. The lowest note in the left hand, which comes right at the end of the piece, is actually out of the range of my camera, but it's the low A. Not the A that's the very lowest note on the keyboard, but the next one up. But mostly, apart from that very last note, everything is within sight of this camera. So let's look at the right hand first, which starts in bar 3. Now you want your hand, for these two bars, bars 4 and 5, you want your hand in this position with your third finger on middle C, your thumb on A, fifth finger on E. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So notice those ties written in the music. So we start with a single A, then it looks as if there's A and C, and then A, C and E, but you don't play the A again or the C because of the ties, so you hold them down. So you play an A with your thumb, play a C while continuing to hold the A down, and then you play an E while continuing to hold those other two notes down. Let's do that once more. So that's the first thing to practice. Make sure that you're holding those notes down when you play the later notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then in bar 5 we move to a new position. The next note is F, as you can see, and you're going to play it with finger 3. So you're moving from a minor position to a D minor position. And it comes in just after the first beat of the bar. We have a quaver's rest, a half beat rest. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So those are the notes. So your fourth finger, it plays a G in bar 5, and then it plays a G sharp in bar 6. 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, off on the fourth beat, which gives you a chance to move back down. You do the same phrase as the beginning. Then you move again. This time you move further because this time your thumb goes to F. You're still in a 5-note position to start with. So your thumb goes to F, pinky to C. So if we look at that, your thumb is going to move. It's going to play an F with the C. Then it's going to play an E with the C. So your thumb is going da, da, da. That's it. So da, 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 da. And then you move your whole hand down to there. So you're covering the interval of a sixth, E to C, and then you move down, it's still a sixth, C to A. What I call robot hands, where you move your hand but your fingers stay quite still. So that needs a little bit of getting used to because you're moving your thumb. Move your thumb as you hit that A. So if I do this very slowly, you see what I'm doing? And then we move down. And see if you can do that. Try it a few times looking at your hands, then see if you can do it without looking at your hands. That will be really good. Okay. So far we've got 1, Then you go back to your starting position yet again. You do this little phrase again after the first beat. 3, 4, 1. So fairly straightforward. C, A, C, D, C, A. And then, so that's bars 11 and 12. Then, so bar 13, same as bar 11, but then you move up. So it's C, A, C, D, D sharp, E, E. That fingering works quite well. 4, 3, 4, 4. So that whole line, 4 bars. Then we jump up a whole octave, exactly an octave, well, an octave from where you were in bar 11, actually, so sort of not quite. So that's the same as bars 11 and 12. We're now on the next page, bar 15 and 16. Same as bars 11 and 12, except it's louder. I'm not going to talk much about dynamics, but do notice the dynamics. Mezzo forte now, where we had mezzo piano before. And then you do this. So bars 15 to 18. Move your thumb to the G sharp. 3, 4, 2. That final A, the book says use finger 2. You might prefer just to play it with your thumb, move your thumb back from the G sharp to the A, whichever you prefer. Good. So that whole middle section. Then we have the first 4 bars of the melody again, exactly as before. So that's the same as bars 3, 2, 6, exactly the same. Then we have this phrase, the first part of that again, dum, dum, dum. And then this is, we're now to bar 25, the last bar of the last but one line. It starts the same as bar 9 did, but it doesn't. But this time, whereas in bar 9 we did this, this time your thumb is going to stay on the F. So it's actually easier to play, that thing. Then, bar 26, your thumb moves down, and then down again. So bar 26, your thumb has moved down from F to E, and then to E flat for those two. And then bar 27 goes back up to E, and then it moves down to D, and then you finish on that again, the C and A. So watch carefully while I play from bar 25 to the end. 3, 4, 1. Off. Okay, so I'm just going to run through all of the right hand now, quite fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. and that's the right hand. Now, left hand, you're going to start here with your thumb on A. So it's not the A nearest to middle C, it's the next one down, the A of all cows eat grass. And a lot of the time you're going to be in that position. So I'm going to play the first few bars. Make these nice and staccato. I'll stop there for a moment. So we start with this little pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then bar 5, you go down to finger 5, the D. Then you play a D sharp with your 4th, and then an E. So your fingers need to be squashed close for this. So you're going D, D sharp, E, bounce off that, repeat the E with finger 4, and then you play, notice the slur, you play this legato, do, do, do. So I'm going to play from, I'm not going to bother with the first 2 bars because it's just the same note. So I'm going to start at bar 3 up to and including the first note of bar 7, okay? Okay, and then we carry on, dum, dum, dum. Go to the D, E, sorry, the D as before, then simply 2 E's. So that's going to be 5, 4, 4, 1. Good. So I'm going to play from bar 3 up to there again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we move up here. The notes are D and F. The suggested fingering is 1 and 2. You could do it with 1 and 3. 1 and 2 is probably better because then you need to play that. So if you do it with 1 and 2, it means that your fingers are in position for the next chord and it's only your thumb that has to move. So you're going 1 and 2 for 4 beats, 1 and 5 for 4 beats. And then same again, and then on the next page, same again. And then from that position you go 1, 2, 3, 4, thumb under, just like in a scale. And that magically brings you back to your starting position. From which point it's mostly the same as before. I'm on 23 now, bar 24. And that's that final note that's out of range of my camera. So that's mostly a repeat of what we did on the first page, except for bar 25, you've got the D, D sharp, that's like what we had before. Then you have an E, bar 26, which you hold for 2 beats. Then you have an F for 2 beats, finger 2, the E again for 2 beats, repeat the E, A, and low A with finger 5. Obviously that last bar is 1, 5. Okay, so again I'm going to leave out the first 2 bars for now. I'm going to play the whole of the left hand from bar 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. bit louder here. Bit of scale. And there we are. So let's finally play the whole thing hands together. And this time I will include the first 2 bars. I made one little mistake there in bar 25, the last bar and the last but one line. I found myself playing 2 D sharps that I did, instead of doing what I should have done. I did by mistake, because that's what happens in the last but one bar. So sorry about that, but I'm not going to do it again. Okay, that is the end of that video. I hope that was helpful.